Life is full of questions that have no easy answers. We search for meaning, love, and freedom, yet often feel lost and incomplete. Most people look outside themselves for solutions, for guidance, for happiness. We follow rules, traditions, and systems, hoping they will give us peace. But real answers are not outside. They are inside. The key to life is awareness, consciousness, and the courage to face oneself. Osho invites us to turn inward and discover the vastness of our own being. This book is a journey into the depths of consciousness, freedom, and love. It is a guide to understanding the mind, the heart, and the spirit. You will explore meditation, initiation, grace, and the hidden mysteries of awakening. Each chapter opens a door to a new dimension of self-discovery. You will learn that freedom is not something to acquire, but something to realize. The teachings are simple yet profound, meant to awaken your own inner light. They are not about belief, but about experience, not about following, but about living fully. Every moment offers a chance to transform and awaken. As you listen and reflect, you will see that life itself is a mirror for consciousness. The path of neo-sannyas shows how to navigate the human crisis with awareness and joy. It combines ancient wisdom with a modern understanding of the mind and heart. By the end, you will realize that the ultimate gate to life is within yourself. This journey begins with understanding who you truly are and what freedom really means. Chapter 1. I am consciousness. I am freedom. Osho begins by telling us that every human being carries a spark of consciousness. Consciousness is not just the ability to think or feel. It is the very essence of existence itself. When you realize consciousness, you realize who you truly are. Most people live in a mechanical way, following routines without awareness. They are controlled by habits, fears, and social pressures. They do not see that they are trapped in their own minds. Freedom is the natural state of consciousness, but most people confuse freedom with doing whatever they want. True freedom is not external. It is the ability to live without being a slave to fear, desire, or attachment. It comes when you observe your mind without judgment. Meditation is a way to see your mind clearly. When you watch thoughts and emotions arise, you realize they are not you. They are patterns that pass through your consciousness. Observation itself creates a space between you and the mind. In that space, freedom arises naturally. You no longer react automatically to situations. You respond with awareness, clarity, and love. Osho emphasizes that awareness is the first step to awakening. Without it, people live as if asleep. Life passes by, and they are unaware of their own existence. When you become aware, even ordinary moments become extraordinary. A flower, a smile, a breeze can reveal the beauty of life. Freedom is not about running away from responsibilities. It is about being fully present and fully responsible. When you are conscious, you do not need rules to guide you. Your actions come from understanding and love, not from fear or habit. Osho explains that consciousness is like a river flowing naturally. It does not resist. It does not cling. It simply exists fully in the moment. The mind tries to hold on to the past or project into the future. Consciousness allows you to live in the now. Every moment becomes a doorway to deeper understanding. The ego resists freedom because it thrives on control and fear. Observation helps dissolve egoic patterns gently. Osho says that courage is needed to face oneself. Many people avoid themselves because they are afraid of what they might see. But facing yourself is the only way to find freedom. Once you begin observing your mind, you start noticing subtle patterns. You see how society, family, and education have shaped your thoughts. You notice desires that are not really yours, but imposed by the world. Freedom is the courage to say no to everything that is not real. It is the courage to say yes to your own being. Meditation is not an act of forcing yourself to be calm. It is simply watching, observing, and understanding yourself. Awareness brings clarity, and clarity brings peace. When you are conscious, you begin to live in harmony with life. You are no longer a slave to past hurts, future worries, or social expectations. Osho reminds us that freedom is natural. It is not something to struggle for or acquire from outside. It is always present, waiting for you to notice it. Even a small moment of awareness can change your life. The practice is simple. Observe, accept, and be present. Slowly, layers of unconscious living fall away. You experience life directly, without filters of fear or desire. Love, joy, and compassion arise naturally from consciousness. The journey begins when you recognize that awareness and freedom are already within you. They do not need to be sought or earned. You simply need to open your eyes inwardly and allow yourself to see. This chapter sets the foundation for the journey of neo-sannyas, meditation, and inner awakening. It teaches that the door to freedom is always within reach, waiting for you to step through. Chapter 2. Neo-sannyas, the answer to human crisis. Osho introduces neo-sannyas as a modern way to awaken consciousness. It is not about blind rituals, rules, or following someone without understanding. Neo-sannyas is a science of the inner life. It is designed to help human beings face the crises of modern existence. People today are stressed, confused, and searching for meaning. Traditional systems and religions often give answers that are outdated. They focus on rules, guilt, and blind obedience rather than awareness. Neo-sannyas offers a new approach, combining ancient wisdom and modern insight. It emphasizes self-observation, meditation, and joyful living. Osho explains that joining neo-sannyas does not mean giving up individuality. It is about enhancing your consciousness while remaining fully yourself. The movement encourages freedom, creativity, and love as expressions of awakened living. It is a path for those who want to live fully and deeply. Osho says the human crisis comes from living unconsciously. People are trapped in habits, desires, fears, and social conditioning. Neo-sannyas teaches tools to break these patterns. It does not impose morality or dogma. Instead, it shows how to discover truth within yourself. Meditation is central to the process. Through meditation, you watch the mind and see how it creates suffering. You learn to live in the present moment, free from the chains of past and future. Osho emphasizes that spiritual growth should be natural, not forced. It is like a flower blooming in its own time. Neo-sannyas also uses celebration and joy as paths to awareness. Dance, music, and laughter become meditation in motion. When you are present and aware, life itself becomes spiritual. The approach is flexible and suited for modern human beings. It respects individuality, encourages self-discovery, and avoids rigid systems. Osho warns that external authorities or rituals cannot give true freedom. True awakening comes from direct experience, not from belief. Neo-sannyas is a doorway to explore consciousness in a relaxed and joyful way. It helps people see that freedom, love, and awareness are already within them. By awakening inside, you naturally influence the world around you. Alienation, anxiety, and mechanical living are transformed into conscious participation in life. Osho highlights that neo-sannyas bridges the gap between ancient spiritual teachings and modern needs. It is a practical way to deal with the stresses, fears, and confusions of contemporary life. The movement is not a group to belong to, but a path to walk consciously. Each step of neo-sannyas brings greater clarity, joy, and inner peace. It is an answer to the modern human crisis because it awakens the human potential. Through meditation, awareness, and joyful living, you rediscover your true self. The practices are simple but profound, designed to awaken consciousness fully. Osho encourages readers to experience life as a celebration, not a struggle. Neo-sannyas helps you become aware of your inner light and live in harmony with it. The inner journey begins when you choose awareness over habit. When you do, the outer world transforms as well. This chapter prepares the seeker to understand the dangers of seeking power outside and the importance of inner experience. Chapter 3. Occult Devices and the Spiritual Search. Osho begins by pointing out that many seekers are attracted to occult powers and mystical devices. These are often seen as shortcuts to enlightenment or spiritual success. People hope to gain control over nature, mind, or even other people. Osho warns that this fascination is a distraction. True spirituality does not rely on tricks, gadgets, or hidden powers. The ego is drawn to these devices because it wants recognition and control. It wants to feel special and superior. But real awakening cannot come from external objects or methods. Spiritual growth is an inner journey, not an external acquisition. Osho explains that the mind is naturally restless and curious. It craves miracles and magical experiences. But the divine cannot be captured or manipulated. It is already present within your own consciousness. The seeker must learn to observe the mind and its illusions. Meditation is the key to seeing through the ego and its desires. When you watch thoughts and emotions arise, you see they are not real. Occult devices may give temporary excitement, but they cannot bring freedom. True power arises when the mind is silent and awareness shines. The spiritual path is simple but requires honesty and courage. You must face yourself without hiding behind illusions. Osho emphasizes that the mystical dimension comes naturally when the mind is still. There is no need to chase supernatural experiences. Freedom and enlightenment are not distant goals. They are realized here and now. The ego resists letting go because it fears losing control. But surrender is essential for awakening. Spiritual growth is not about accumulation, but about letting go. Osho compares the mind to a mirror. Occult devices are like looking at reflections in the mirror. They show images, but do not create the light. True insight arises when you simply observe, accept, and understand yourself. The spiritual journey cannot be measured by powers or achievements. It is measured by consciousness, love, and presence. Osho stresses that the divine is not outside, it is your own being. You do not need rituals, spells, or symbols to connect with it. The real seeker learns to distinguish between illusion and reality. This requires patience, awareness, and inner courage. Abandoning shortcuts is necessary to experience genuine awakening. Meditation, self-observation, and awareness dissolve the ego slowly. When the mind is quiet, the inner world opens naturally. Osho reminds that freedom is the greatest power anyone can achieve. It cannot be bought, learned, or stolen. It is realized in the depth of your own consciousness. The chapter prepares the seeker to understand that love, grace, and divinity arise naturally once the mind becomes quiet. Seeking powers outside will always lead to frustration. The true path is within, in the silence of your own being. Chapter 4. Love, Grace, and Divinity. Osho begins by explaining that love is not a social construct or a habit. True love is a natural expression of consciousness. It arises spontaneously when the mind is silent and the heart is open. Love without attachment, fear, or possession is pure and transformative. Many people confuse desire with love. Desire seeks to possess, to control, and to satisfy the ego. True love does not ask for anything in return. It simply flows, naturally and effortlessly. Grace is the presence of the divine in everyday life. It is not earned, it is experienced when the heart is open and awareness is present. Osho emphasizes that love and grace cannot be forced or manipulated. They are natural consequences of consciousness. Divinity is not separate from life. It exists in every act of awareness, compassion, and joy. When you are conscious, you feel the divine in yourself and in others. Love, grace, and divinity are inseparable. One cannot exist fully without the others. Meditation enhances your ability to experience love and grace. It allows the heart to open and the mind to relax. When you are present, small moments reveal the sacredness of life. A smile, a touch, a breeze, or the laughter of a child becomes divine. Osho explains that love is not something to seek outside yourself. It is already within, waiting to be expressed. Grace is also a gift of awareness, When you stop resisting life, when you surrender to the present, grace flows naturally. The awakened person lives in constant communion with the divine. Love becomes not an act, but a state of being. It transforms ordinary relationships into sacred connections. Osho reminds that ego-driven love creates suffering. Attachment, jealousy, and expectation block the flow of grace. Meditation helps dissolve these obstacles and allows love to shine freely. Life itself becomes a celebration of consciousness. Even small acts, when performed with awareness, become expressions of divinity. The human heart has an infinite capacity to love and be compassionate. When you are awake, love is not limited to a person or a situation. It extends to all beings, to all existence. Osho emphasizes that grace and love are always available. They are not dependent on external circumstances. Divinity is revealed when you fully accept life as it is. Love without expectation, grace without seeking, and consciousness without judgment bring ultimate freedom. Every moment offers an opportunity to experience this divine state. Osho encourages embracing life fully while realizing the depth of your own being. The awakened person lives in joy, peace, and love, naturally and effortlessly. This chapter prepares the seeker for the next step, which is meditation and the many paths to inner awakening. It shows that love, grace, and divinity are not distant goals but living experiences accessible to anyone who is aware. Chapter 5. Meditation and the Paths to Inner Awakening. Osho begins by explaining that meditation is the bridge between ordinary life and higher consciousness. It is not a technique for escaping life, but a way to engage more fully with it. Meditation allows you to watch the mind without judgment. By observing thoughts and emotions, you realize that they are not you. They are patterns that pass through your awareness. The first step is simple. Just sit, observe, and breathe. Different people respond to different paths of meditation. Some prefer silence, some music, some movement. Osho introduced dynamic meditation, dance, and active techniques for modern seekers. The key is awareness, not the form. When you are fully present, every action becomes meditation. Eating, walking, laughing, and working can all be paths to inner awakening. The mind is often restless and distracted. Meditation trains it to become still and alert. Stillness is not emptiness, it is full awareness. Through meditation, habitual patterns of thought and emotion are revealed. You begin to see how social conditioning, desires, and fears shape your life. Awareness allows you to respond freely rather than react automatically. Osho emphasizes that meditation is not a competition or achievement. It is a personal journey into your own being. Patience is essential, as the mind needs time to settle. Consistency matters more than intensity. Even a few minutes of true awareness daily can transform your life. Meditation brings clarity, creativity, and inner peace. It is the foundation for love, grace, and freedom. When the mind becomes silent, the heart opens naturally. Joy, compassion, and insight emerge effortlessly. Osho warns against using meditation to escape reality. True meditation makes you more alive, more present, and more connected to life. It is not about controlling the mind, but understanding it. Meditation dissolves egoic patterns and reveals the deeper dimension of consciousness. The awakened mind is alert, but peaceful, active, but undisturbed. Through meditation, you experience life as it is, without illusions. You begin to live in harmony with your inner being and the outer world. Osho encourages experimentation. Explore different methods and find what resonates with your nature. Dance, music, breathing, and silence can all lead to the same destination, inner awakening. Meditation transforms ordinary moments into gateways of consciousness. It is a journey of discovery, freedom, and joy. Through awareness, life becomes a continuous celebration rather than a struggle. The essence of meditation is simply to be present, fully aware, and free from attachment. Osho reminds seekers that awakening is not a distant goal but a living experience. Every moment can become a step toward consciousness, if you pay attention. The practice of meditation prepares the mind and heart for moments of deep spiritual explosion. It opens the door to inner freedom, love, and profound understanding. This chapter leads naturally to the next, where Osho explores the secrets of spiritual explosion and sudden awakening. Chapter 6: The Secrets of Spiritual Explosion. Osho begins by explaining that spiritual awakening can sometimes come as a sudden explosion of consciousness. This is not something that can be forced or planned. It arises spontaneously when the mind and heart are ready. Many seekers search for dramatic experiences, but true awakening is subtle and natural. Spiritual explosion is a moment when the boundaries of the ego dissolve. The mind stops interfering, and consciousness shines freely. It can be accompanied by joy, clarity, and profound love. Osho compares it to a river overflowing, releasing the energy that was held back. These experiences are not the goal, but signs of inner transformation. Preparation is important. Meditation, self-observation, and awareness create the conditions for sudden insight. Letting go of attachment, fear, and control is essential. The ego resists these moments because it fears losing its identity. Surrender allows the mind to relax and consciousness to expand. Osho emphasizes that spiritual explosion is not permanent at first. It may come in flashes, moments, or brief glimpses. But each experience deepens inner freedom and understanding. These moments reveal the vastness of your being and the infinite potential of consciousness. Seekers often get attached to these experiences, wanting to repeat them. Osho warns that attachment to experiences can block true growth. The real awakening lies in integrating these moments into daily life. Awareness becomes continuous rather than occasional. The mind learns to observe without interference. You become free from habitual reactions and mechanical patterns. The inner explosion creates a sense of joy, clarity, and boundless energy. It reveals that freedom, love, and consciousness are already within you. Spiritual explosion is a byproduct of deep inner work, not a goal to chase. It shows the beauty and simplicity of awakened living. Osho stresses that these moments are available to anyone, even in everyday life. A glance, a breath, or a small act of awareness can trigger the same insight. The explosion does not come from effort, but from being fully present. It is a flowering of consciousness that has been nurtured silently within. Osho compares it to the sun breaking through clouds after a storm. The light has always been there, waiting to shine. Preparation involves meditation, self-awareness, and ethical living. These create inner clarity and openness to sudden awakening. Osho reminds seekers that the ego cannot force enlightenment. Only surrender and awareness allow the mind to dissolve and consciousness to explode. Spiritual explosions inspire continued exploration and growth. They show that life is not ordinary, but filled with depth and wonder. Even a single moment of full presence can transform your understanding of existence. This chapter sets the stage for initiation, the next step in deepening the spiritual journey. Osho prepares the seeker to understand that initiation is not a ritual, but a transmission of consciousness. Chapter 7: The Mysteries of Initiation. Osho begins by explaining that initiation is not just a ritual or a ceremony. True initiation is a transmission of consciousness from one being to another. It awakens the inner dimension of the seeker. Traditional rituals often focus on form rather than experience. Osho emphasizes that the real mystery of initiation is internal. It cannot be given by words, symbols, or rules. It is experienced when the seeker is ready to receive it. The relationship between the teacher and the student is important. It is based on trust, guidance, and awareness, not obedience or authority. The student is encouraged to explore their own consciousness. The teacher points the way, but the transformation happens naturally within. Initiation opens the mind and heart to new dimensions of awareness. It dissolves fear, doubt, and the limitations imposed by the ego. Osho compares initiation to the opening of a flower. It cannot be forced. It must happen in its own time. Preparation involves meditation, self-observation, and letting go of attachments. the seeker learns patience, honesty, and courage. Osho stresses that initiation is not about becoming special or powerful. It is about recognizing your true self, your consciousness, and your freedom. The mysteries of initiation reveal that life is not mechanical or random. Everything is a reflection of consciousness. Through initiation, the seeker begins to experience the interconnectedness of all life. It helps dissolve the sense of separation that causes suffering. The inner transformation is subtle but profound. It shows that awakening is not about achievement or accumulation. It is about realizing what has always been present. Osho reminds seekers that external authority cannot grant true initiation. It is a personal experience that requires inner receptivity. The awakened teacher serves as a mirror to help the student see their own light. Every step of initiation is an invitation to explore the depths of being. The mysteries are revealed only when the mind is quiet and receptive. Osho emphasizes that initiation is not a one-time event. It is a process of continuous opening and deepening of awareness. With initiation, the seeker learns to live in harmony with consciousness. It prepares the mind and heart for greater experiences of love, grace, and freedom. Osho encourages letting go of expectation and simply being present. The ultimate initiation is self-realization, the recognition that you are consciousness itself. This chapter sets the stage for understanding the inner gate, the next step on the path. Osho prepares the seeker to realize that the doorway to life and divinity is always within. Chapter 8. I am the gate. Osho begins by explaining that each person is a gateway to higher consciousness. You do not need to search outside yourself for truth or divinity. The phrase, I am the gate, means your own awareness is the doorway to the divine. Meditation and self-observation open this gate naturally. The gate is not a physical place. It is a state of inner awakening and understanding. When you open it, freedom, love, and clarity flow into your life. Osho emphasizes that you are responsible for opening this gate yourself. No teacher, book, or ritual can open it for you. Awareness is the key, presence is the path, and surrender is the door. Every moment offers an opportunity to open the gate more fully. Fear, doubt, and ego create barriers, but awareness dissolves them. Osho explains that the gate connects you with the timeless, infinite dimension of consciousness. Living consciously transforms ordinary life into a spiritual experience. The essence of spirituality is simple. Be aware, be present, and be yourself. Osho encourages embracing life fully while realizing the depth of your own being. The gate is always open, but you must recognize it and step through. Once you enter, ordinary and extraordinary merge into one seamless experience. Your life becomes meditation, celebration, and awakening simultaneously. The awakened person does not wait for the future or cling to the past. They live fully in the present, aware of their own consciousness. Osho explains that the mind often resists opening the gate. It prefers familiar patterns, routines, and control. Courage is needed to face yourself and let go of old habits. Every act, thought, and emotion can be a doorway if observed with awareness. The gate leads to freedom from fear, attachment, and mechanical living. It allows you to experience life directly, without filters of social conditioning. When you step through the gate, love, grace, and inner peace arise naturally. The awakened state is not rare or special. It is available to anyone who chooses awareness. Osho reminds readers that spirituality is not complicated. It does not require elaborate rituals, beliefs, or external validation. The key is simple. Observe yourself, be present, and let your consciousness shine. Opening the gate is not an achievement, but a realization of what has always existed. Osho emphasizes that the gate is within, not somewhere in the outside world. Every moment is an opportunity to enter it fully. By opening this inner doorway, life becomes a continuous experience of freedom and joy. Osho explains that this realization prepares the seeker to live fully, even in a single moment. It leads naturally to understanding that awakening is available at any instant, no matter how brief. Chapter 9. Even in a single moment. Osho begins by explaining that awakening is possible even in a single moment of awareness. You do not need years of practice or endless techniques to experience it. A moment of total presence can reveal the vastness of consciousness. The mind may resist, but deep attention dissolves distraction instantly. Even ordinary actions can become gateways to higher realization. Every breath, glance, or small act can hold the entire universe. Osho emphasizes that time is an illusion. Awareness exists beyond it. The quality of attention determines the depth of experience. A single moment of complete presence can transform your understanding of life. Seekers often postpone awakening, waiting for a perfect time or perfect conditions. Osho warns that waiting is an illusion. The only moment that matters is now. Even in a moment, fear, doubt, and ego dissolve in awareness. Meditation trains the mind to recognize and cherish these moments. Awakening is not gradual accumulation, but sudden recognition of what is always present. The heart opens, the mind settles, and consciousness shines without effort. Osho compares it to a lightning strike that illuminates everything at once. You realize that freedom, love, and clarity are not far away. They are within you. The challenge is simply to pay attention and step into the present. Even a fleeting moment of awareness can lead to deep transformation over time. Osho emphasizes that this is not mystical theory, but direct experience. Life is abundant, vibrant, and alive when you are fully present. Ordinary experiences, when observed consciously, become extraordinary. A smile, a flower, a touch, or the sound of music can reveal the divine. The awakened state is always accessible, even in brief instants. You do not need permission, external tools, or validation. Awareness itself is enough to open the door to consciousness. Osho explains that living in awareness transforms the ordinary into the sacred. Each moment holds infinity if you allow yourself to see it. Fear and attachment fade when you focus on presence instead of past or future. The mind may resist, but patience and observation help overcome resistance. Awakening is available to anyone who is willing to see and accept the moment fully. Osho encourages practicing attention and presence in every action. Life becomes a continuous meditation when the mind and heart are fully engaged. Even in small, everyday moments, you experience freedom, love, and clarity. Osho concludes that the key is simple. Awareness in the now opens the gate to life itself. Every moment is a doorway to consciousness, and stepping through it transforms your life completely. This is the culmination of the teachings in the book, showing that inner awakening is always within reach. With awareness, meditation, love, grace, and courage, life becomes a celebration of existence. Even a single moment of full presence can reveal the infinite, the divine, and the true self. The seeker learns that the ultimate gate to life is within, open, and always available. If you enjoyed this journey into consciousness and inner awakening with Osho, make sure to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you will get access to more audiobook summaries, spiritual guides, and self-discovery content. Stay connected and continue exploring wisdom, awareness, and the path to freedom with us. Hit the subscribe button now and step into a life of knowledge, meditation, and inner growth.